All right, guys, listen. Yeah, we had a press conference today. Ten Hag gave us an injury update. Yes, the press conference against Arsenal. That is our next game coming up on Sunday. Listen, everybody in the world thinks we're gonna lose. What do I think? You asking me? You asking me? We're not gonna lose. Come on, man. All right, let's see. Let's talk about the injury. What did Ten Hag say? All right, before the injuries, guys, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, hit that follow. I'm your boy Luther. This is Man United Central. Listen, you know how many injuries we've had this season? 65, right? 65 injuries. That is ridiculous. And guess who's out today? Ten Hag told us. Yep, Mason Mount is out again. You know, when I was thinking about my lineup, as if we have any new incomings, you know, I had Mason Mount in that midfield with Bruno and Kobe Mino, right? Because based on what Ten Hag said, most likely the back four is going to be the same, right? It's going to be Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, maybe Johnny Evans again, and Diogo Dalot. So in the midfield, I had, okay, we can roll with Mainu, Mount, and Bruno. So Mount is out. Again, I mean, this is a complete and utter disaster, guys. Wow, we cannot catch a break. So talking about the injuries, Fabrizio Romano said, look, since we have like 65 injuries, right? He's saying that this could be one of the factors that the board will consider when deciding on Ten Hag's future. It's not just about the manager. They are also thinking about on how to change the medical situation, which is very true. The medical situation at Carrington, it needs to be, that will be like, that's one thing that can be pretty much tear into pieces and start over, right? Because according to reports, we know that some of the medical staff, they've been there forever. I don't know if they're working with the most updated tech out there to help the team. So I don't know. But the medical stuff is shambolic, and that needs to be sacked ASAP, right? Look, Fabrizio continues saying, look, I know a lot of fans blame Ten Hag on everything, but he's, you know, obviously most of us fans were blaming him on injuries, rushing players back from injuries, and also Ten Hag is blamed for letting Region leave when in fact it was the medical team who told him Shaw and Malacia will be back in January, right? So, hey, Ten Hag went with that and let him go, and that was not the case. So Fabrizio continues saying, look, Mourinho, Oli, and even the recent as Ragnick all called out the medical team, right? The club must tackle the main issues if any manager is going to succeed at Manchester United. This is an absolute fact, right? It is not just people talking about Ten Hag out, you know, they're calling him names. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can only work with the players that he has, the players that are fit, right? We are going on this game against Arsenal on Sunday with a team that is, you know, it's not really fit for purpose, right? Yes, we got positive news that Rashi is back. Lisandro Martinez, we got news that he was back, but Ten Hag said he's not fit to start against Arsenal, even though Licha, the butcher himself, went to Ten Hag and said, boss, listen, put me in. I want to play in this game, right? Ten Hag was like, nah, son, you are not ready. I'm not going to risk you, right? I'm sure Ten Hag is thinking maybe, we can use him in the upcoming games, hopefully the final, right? So Licha is not going to be considered for the Arsenal game. So, and Rashford is back in training, which is good. We need him. Bruno, most likely he's going to be available because, Bruno doesn't miss a lot of games. Bruno is a fighter. And guys, we missed him on that game against Crystal Palace, for sure. I was one of them say, hey, let's see what Mount is going to do. Listen, Mount is not Bruno. Bruno, even though the team sucked, Bruno could have done something like run around, chase lost causes, because Bruno is one of those that gives it his all. So it's good that we're going to have Bruno back, hopefully. And then we're going to have Rashford. Rashford, yes, he hasn't been great, but Rashford can get you that goal from nowhere because, he usually shows up in these big games. So hopefully, we'll see something. So on his presser today, he was asked this very interesting question. So look, LVG, Louis van Gaal, won the FA Cup, but the owners sacked him right after that. So he was asked, well, aren't you worried that, that could happen to you? Ten Hag today, Ten Hag was very bullish, guys. Bullish means he looked like he has some kind of confidence. Does he know something that we don't? Maybe he feels like, look, I've already had a conversation with the owners and the board, and they're willing to give me a chance. Basically, he said, look, Ineos and the owners, they have common sense, right? They're not gonna just gonna base it on just the results. They see the number of injuries they've had, right? They see the chopping and changing in defense that we have had, over 30 different combination in defense. So the owners, they'll use common sense, So basically, he said, look, they're not gonna sack me because of that, right? So he was feeling bullish about that, which I liked to see him, talking with chest, talking with confidence. You know what, man? Hey, Ten Hag, he's doing his thing, man. He did his thing today in the press conference. Another question Ten Hag was posed on is, they were asking me, like, so wouldn't you wish now you had Declan Rice, instead of I'm paraphrasing here, you had Declan Rice instead of Mason Mount, because ever since Mason Mount came to Manchester United, he has been, pretty much injured the whole time. Well, what kind of question is that, right, to ask a man? But basically, Ten Hag was like, look, first of all, when he decided to sign Mason Mount, he was not injury prone. Based on his record, he was not injury prone. So this has just been it's a bad luck. He's been injured. But of course, he's saying, look, when it comes to a player like Declan Rice is a phenomenal player. He would have fit in any system, in any team, and it would have made him better, right? But he chose Mason Mount instead of Declan Rice. And also another thing is this. These reporters are very tricky, man. They ask him that question. They didn't think okay, first of all, Declan Rice was going to cost us 100 million. Where would the 100 million come from to get Declan Rice, right? Exactly. So he obviously was one of those things okay, even if he wanted to go for Declan Rice, which we knew that, okay, Ten Hag liked Declan Rice, he couldn't go for him because he didn't have the money. So he kind of had to work with the money that he has on hand to, he got Mount. Yes, some people will say, some of his signings were not the best. He did not use the money he had properly, like signing Andre Onana. We did not need Andre Onana, who could have kept the hair. Well, it's up for debate. Ten Hag probably was thinking, it's time for us to move on, get a progressive goalkeeper who can advance the ball, thinking that, okay, this season he's not going to have that many injuries. He's going to have Lisandro Martinez in the back, advancing the ball. That kind of thing was going to work out. But unfortunately, it didn't. So, yes, also Anthony paying 80 million for him, it wasn't his decision, right? He wanted to get him for 40 million, but the negotiation team, John Murta, and I don't know who else was there, Woodward, they were not good at their job. So they ended up pushing and paying 80 million. You cannot blame that on Ten Hag. Anyway, people, that's all I got. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, hit the follow, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace out. Hey, guys, listen, make sure to get up and walk. Let's get the blood pumping so we can see Man United one of these days win the Premier League or the Champions League. Just go!